And we're continuing. I didn't know what to say next, how to continue the conversation. If Slavia didn't come back, we could probably sit here till the evening without saying a word. Here we go. She handed me a pair of hefty paddles. Yeah, thanks. We got into the boat. I untied it, pushed off the shore, and tried to start paddling. And where exactly are we headed to? Right there. She pointed her finger at the island. The island is named the closest one. I wonder what captain gave it such an original name. Well, the island is indeed close to the shore. Aye, aye, Captain. If only I'd known what was waiting for me ahead. I wasn't expecting oarsmen. I'd rowed a boat just once or twice in my entire life. I wasn't an experienced oarsman. It was less than half a mile to the island, but we were making our way in zigzags thanks to my skills. By approximately the middle of the trip, my arms hurt so badly that I dropped the paddles to get some rest. Well, aren't there any strawberries anywhere else? I mean, in more accessible places? But the tastiest ones grow there. Slavia gave me a puzzled look. Is it hard for you to row alone? Lena, unlike Slavia, understood everything straight away. Oh, it's nothing. Anyway, I can't let a fragile girl help me. The rest of the way I spent concentrating on staying alive while getting to the island. Slavia and Lena discussed something, but I wasn't listening. That was too much for me. At last we arrived. Completely exhausted, I got out of the shore and looked at the boathouse. It seemed so far away that I felt like the first person on the moon watching the Earth rise. Here you go. Slavia handed me a basket. It was a small island, barely 100 meters long, and it looked more like a birch grove, with even rows of trees covering its entire surface. A calm green sea spread beneath our feet, with wind causing lonely waves on the surface from time to time. This island looked like a lost paradise. It's no wonder that the most delicious strawberries grow just here. We've got to split up. That way we'll do the job faster. Yeah, sure. But there are only 2 baskets, said Lena humbly. Oh, you're right, my bad. So how are we going to split up then? Why can't the girls just go together, huh? Huh? Why can't they just go together? I don't like Slavia that much. Let me go with you. Let's go. Okay, that's fine. Slavia grabbed the second basket and ventured to the opposite side of the island. Well? Well? Let's go. Yeah. Lena smiled. Just pay attention. Don't leave a single berry behind. You too. So it was harvest time. Indeed, the strawberries here were delicious. I could probably eat them all if I didn't stop myself in time. Despite being wild grown, the berries were close to the garden ones in size and had a rich red color, so it was clear that our visit here wasn't in vain. Lena followed me closely as we had only one basket for the both of us. I felt like a real mushroom picker, examining each shrub and carefully pawing the grass. Well, you're much better at that than me. Am I? Frankly, I'm not even counting them. Yeah, right you are. The basket was already half full. You must enjoy nature, right? I do. The bright sun rays pierced the treetops and blinded me for a second. I sat down on the ground and leaned against the tree. Still, it's so beautiful here. Lena sat down next to me, so close that our elbows touched. Yeah. We just sat and enjoyed the moment. It seemed like time stood still. The wind gently shook the tree leaves, some bugs lazily hopped around the grass, and splashes of sunlight played on the faraway water surface. Lena put her head on my shoulder. I was surprised at first, but then I heard her regular breathing and thought that it's just a matter of course. Probably she felt drowsy and wanted to take a quick nap. Where's her hand at? What's she doing? I just sat there and didn't think of anything for a few minutes. But then words started crossing my mind with ultrasonic speed. Lena, so close, sleeping, so warm, so gentle. Feelings! I gazed at her. She had such a serene, such a tranquil look on her face that it seemed that right now she's not there, but in some kind of better world. I don't know what would have happened the next moment if I didn't hear the voice of Slavia. Semyon, Lena! I shook my head from side to side for a few times to come to my senses. Lena started to wake up. She opened her eyes and gave me an empty look. Have a nice dream? Huh? Suddenly realizing that she had dozed off leaning on my shoulder, Lena blushed. Oh, I'm sorry. It's fine. Slavia came over to us, so Lena rushed to get up. So how much did you get? I sighed. That's not a lot. Her basket was filled with strawberries to the brim. Well, it's enough anyway. It's time to get back. I grabbed the basket and we headed back to the boat. The way back took less time as I tried to concentrate on rowing and ignoring everything else. My only wish was to get back alive, as the first trip hadn't gone without consequences, and now my hands started to hurt after only a few sweeps of the oar. Having tied up the boat, I fell on the ground with no energy left. Slavia and Lena came over to me. You could have said something if it was so hard for you. Yes. Never mind, it's fine. I'll just lie here for a bit and everything will be alright. Okay, then get those baskets to Olga, please. We have something else to do. Yeah, sure. I was ready to agree with anything at the moment, just so I wouldn't have to get up. Slavia put the baskets full of strawberries next to me and headed to the square, happily chatting with Lena about something. The hardest part is done anyway. That's what I thought before I got up and took the baskets. After the rowing, they felt like cement bags, even while weighing barely more than a few kilograms each. So the trip to the camp leader's cabin took much longer than usual. I had to stop every 50 meters to have a rest. Once I finally made it, I put the baskets on the ground and sat on the desk chair with difficulty. Olga! Olga, I've got presents for you. There was no answer. I barely managed to get up and enter the cabin. There was nobody there. If you don't need them, it's up to you. I lay down on the deck chair and fell asleep. I had a weird dream about a strawberry race. I was rowing a boat with my last ounces of strength, trying to escape huge berries that were chasing me. My hands were failing me, and I could barely see anything because of the sweat covering my face. Blood was hammering in my temples, but the strawberries were getting closer. They were baring their teeth at me. But wait, strawberries with teeth? Semyon! Semyon! I woke up. Olga was standing beside me, shaking my shoulder. I see you got a rich harvest, didn't you? Huh? What are these options? Tried my best, thanks to the girl's help. Yeah, I mean, apparently Slavia picked the most berries, so. Okay, but that's not all. Seriously, I was just anticipating the lovely rest I was about to have. Do you even know what these strawberries are for? Not a clue. What an honest confession. We'll make a cake out of them. I see. Well, that makes sense. To honor the miraculous rescue of Shurik. And it's all thanks to you. It was clear that getting the strawberries wasn't the last thing to do. And why, please tell me, if I'm such a hero, why do I have to organize a celebration in my name all by myself? Well, I guess. So, I have an important task for you. We are missing yeast, flour, and sugar. And need it all in the canteen before dinner. And those who will make the cake can't deal with it on their own somehow. I asked pitifully. Of course they can't. All of them are busy. And you are the only one in the whole camp who does nothing. You bitch. You. I will not forgive you for that, Olga. While her words were partly true, that doesn't make it easier for me now. Moreover, those words felt like a bullet to my head. So write it down. You'll get yeast in the infirmary, flour in the library, and sugar in the clubhouse. Wait it. I have no time. I'm in a hurry. Good luck. She smiled slyly and left. Of course there are a lot of strange things in this camp, but yeast in the infirmary? Okay, I can deal with that, but flour in the library? And sugar? No, it's way beyond my comprehension. I spat on the floor. I don't want to, and I will not believe this. Tell me. Just tell me you're pulling my leg. I would not be surprised if a crowd of fat green trolls would appear right now beside me, with every one of them feeling obligated to laugh at me. So maybe to hell with this cake? I weighed my options for some time. No, if such a major plan of Olga's fell through, I'd be in for a world of hurt. And it would complicate both my life in the camp and my search for answers, which I've stopped for quite a while. It seems I have no choice. I guess it doesn't. Let's see, sugar, flour. Let's go to the clubhouse first, I suppose. Feels like I've gone through more things today than all the previous days combined. Thus, approaching the clubhouse, I'd even forgotten to think about how awkward it must be to look for sugar there. Shurk and Electronic were enthusiastically building a kitten sex bot. They were so busy that they didn't even notice me. I looked closely. It was some kind of a robot. Or at least the body of one. Moreover, this robot was female, and had animal ears. I don't want to make up theories about the purpose of such a device for luminaries or camp cybernetics. Even though the design looked practically workable, I had my doubts about this robot ever being able to conquer Earth, or at least being able to do anything on its own. But they seemed to be enjoying the process more than the end result itself. Hey, if they advance robotics enough, they can make Giftia. And that was something we shared, even though I didn't want to admit it. On the other hand, they weren't afraid of possible failure, criticism, or jokes. They were working towards their goal without paying attention to others who would call it unrealistic or even absurd. I can respect that. Or it looks like I'm truly comparing them than luminaries of the sciences. Hey guys, I greeted them uncertainly.
Oh, Semyon, come in. We're always glad to see you.
I was actually already inside.
You know, sorry for what happened yesterday. I barely remember anything, but, well...
Never mind, it's okay. And what brings you to our humble abode? Electronic looked at me slyly. Sometimes I feel that he makes such a face when he knows something about the other person, something he can use in the right moment. Sugar. I need sugar. An image from an ancient video game suddenly came into my mind, where some kind of a unit like a builder or something cried out with all of its 5-pixel stature, "Gold! We need more gold!" "We got it," said Electronic calmly.
Why would you want it?
I felt that I shouldn't explain to Shirk that they want to bake a cake for him. I shouldn't spoil the surprise. I don't know. Olga told me to get some. Okay, hang on. Electronic disappeared behind the door into the next room. And why do you have sugar here? Why not in the canteen?
When the food truck came last time, it was the last thing to unload. And given that our building is the closest one to the entrance, they decided to leave it here to save some effort.
That's reasonable, isn't it? The door opened, revealing Electronic hauling a huge bag behind him. I really don't know what the size of the cake will be, but that was obviously too much sugar. Well, thanks, but I don't need all of it. But where would you put it? Electronic gave me a surprised look. We don't have a place for it. You asked for sugar, so take it. Seems that previous smile of his wasn't there without reason. Maybe you'll help me then? It's not that far to carry. We're busy. He pointed his hand at the robot. I gazed at Churik. He owed me after all. He hesitated and then looked away in shame. I sighed, took the bag, and headed to the door. Thanks anyway, I said at parting, exerting myself. But I didn't make it too far. Just after a mere 20 meters, I had to put the bag down and have a rest. I had no idea how much it weighed, but it felt like more than 20 kilos. On the other hand, it was just 200 meters to the canteen. On the other hand, even such a distance with this payload on my shoulder, or alternately in my hands or on my legs, or under my arm, or even on my head, looked impossible for me to cover. And I resigned myself to moving in minor sprints with prolonged pauses between them, so I could get there by night at least. I heard a voice behind me.
Maybe I could help you?
I saw Lena in front of me. I don't think you can. It was one of those moments when I felt painfully how dramatically I was out of shape.
I can bring a handcart.
A handcart? Why didn't I think of that myself? Yes, that would be great.
Wait here, I'll be right back.
She smiled and ran in the direction of the square. What would I do without her? It's good that Lena isn't always that shy and can take the initiative sometimes. I started to think. She seemed quite unusual now, with no trace of shyness on her face and actually the complete opposite, smiles and confidence. The offer of help wasn't something extraordinary by itself, but getting it from Lena. A few minutes later she came back with a smallish handcart. I put the bag down on it. Thanks.
Don't mention it.
She blushed and looked down. Oh, the Lena we all know is back.
So I'll go then.
Yes, see ya. And thank you again, I shouted after her. Sometimes I felt like there are two different people living inside of Lena. But the second one, confident, happy, and sometimes even bold, only appears when she talks to me. Or am I making things up again? I thought that it would be better if I get all the ingredients at once, so I headed to Olga's cabin with the handcart. Let's go to the infirmary now. I feel like I visited the infirmary too often recently, but what can I do? That's how things pan out. I sighed and knocked on the door. Come in, the nurse said with a trace of a sing-song accent. Good afternoon. Olga sent me to get some, I hesitated slightly, yeast.
Ah, sure.
She gave me a broad smile.
It's just that I don't have any. Pioneer.
How so? She said that.
Well, I had some, but now there's none left.
I didn't even bother asking why she had it in the first place.
Well, don't you worry. You can have some aspirin, for example.
That could be of use to me, actually. Where do I get it then? I sighed.
Take this.
She opened the drawer and pulled out some kind of bottle. Kinskio was a well-known brand of cheap beer in USSR. I took a closer look. It was Kinskio beer.
What's the matter? Beer is also a fermented product.
She gave me a deep gaze.
Nobody will even notice.
She had a point, but everything just looked so grotesque to me that I couldn't find anything to say. Are you sure?
Absolutely.
Okay then. The bottle clearly wouldn't fit into my pocket of my shorts. Well, thanks. I mumbled shyly, leaving the infirmary. I doubt the chefs will want to use beer in their cake. I doubt that would taste that great anyway. Well, beer certainly could replace yeast, even if my limited knowledge of chemistry and biology was enough to accept this. But generally walking around with this bottle in my hands looked like a silly idea to me, so I decided to bring it to Olga's cabin and hide it there. But I had to reach it somehow without anybody noticing the beer. I hid the bottle under my shirt, and everything would have been fine, but Slavia called out to me for at the square. Actually, she sprang out from behind me so suddenly that I even gave a start.
How's it going?
What exactly?
You're searching for ingredients.
Ah, so you know already.
Yes, I do.
Slavia smiled. It's going alright, I answered, trying not to give away my unrest.
And what do you have here?
She pointed at the bottle sticking out from under my shirt. Ah, this? She got me. Ah, it's nothing. I blushed with a silly giggle. It's time to go. I was almost running, leaving the square, with a puzzled Slavia behind. It's great that she is one of those people who don't ask unnecessary questions. But there are people in this camp who like nothing better than to poke their noses into other people's business. Passing the pioneers' cabins, I stumbled upon Yulana.
What are you hiding there?
She gave me one of her cheeky looks. I thought there was no point in denying anything, so I replied in a provocative manner. It's none of your business. I'm a cipher officer bearing a message to the headquarters.
That's certainly a big message.
I was carrying the bottle at waist height, so I was slightly embarrassed.
You want some help?
Yes, you can help me with my large package. I will deliver it into your base. I don't feel bad in the least. I'll deal with it on my own. I walked past her confidently and proceeded on my way. To my surprise, she didn't say anything nor try to pursue me. There was nobody at Olga's cabin, so I successfully managed to stuff the bottle under my bed. Once I got outside, I sighed with relief. I'm gonna end the part there. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you later. Peace.